If there's one question that I get asked all the time, it's which camera should I buy? Here is my assortment of cameras. Sometimes I get context, but sometimes it is literally just which camera should I buy? Should I buy the Action 4 or the Action 5? That is all I get. So in this video, I'm not going to tell you which camera to buy, but I am going to tell you which scenario I would use which camera in. And if that scenario fits what you're going to do, even though you haven't told me what that scenario is, then you'll know that that camera is probably the one that you might want to look at. But again, this is just my opinion. It could vary for a lot of people, but this is what I would recommend based on how I would use each of these cameras. So I'm going to start with, the first thing I want to say actually is ecosystem, because I've got DJI cameras here and I've got Insta360 cameras here. And what I will say is that if you are in one ecosystem or the other, even though Insta360's ecosystem is broken, it's not really an ecosystem. If you have DJI's, anything from DJI, you are basically in the DJI ecosystem because everything just works across everything, which just makes it so much easier. The mounts, they work across all the different cameras. The microphones work across the different cameras without needing a receiver. Apart from if you've got the Action 3, you do need a receiver. But for everything else, everything just works and it's seamless. And if you have one selfie stick, it will work with all the cameras apart from the Pocket 3 because it's a completely different design. But if you have any of the action cameras, the selfie sticks are going to work, the magnetic mounts are going to work, so just bear that in mind. With Insta360, there's not much of an ecosystem because if you have a look at the 360 cameras, the X4 between the X5, the batteries are different. That's the other thing, the DJI batteries are the same between the 360 camera and the action cameras, so you can cross-use them, which is great. You don't have to buy new ones if you've already got them. Whereas with the Insta360 cameras, it's not like that. So with the X4 to the X5, different batteries. Are the batteries different for the Ace Pro to the Ace Pro 2? I can't remember, but I'll put it on the screen because I genuinely can't remember, but I feel like I can't remember, so I'm not gonna give you false information. I will check that. But the mounts, you would need a different mount for each camera. So if you had the Go Ultra, that is not the same mount as the Ace Pro 2. This is a completely different magnetic mount, which is really frustrating. Same with the X5, it's a completely different mount. So say you were going out and you picked up your Ace Pro 2 and your X5, you would have to make sure that you have the right mounts with you because otherwise you're not going to be able to use the camera in the way that you intended. But the Insta360 cameras do have one benefit that the DJI cameras do not have, and it's a benefit that I absolutely love, which makes me use the camera over one of the DJI cameras for certain things. So the first camera that if you watch my channel, you already know that I talk about the Action 4 so much because I just love the image quality, I love the colors, I just love the look that comes out of this camera without having to do very much to it, without color grading the footage, without having to convert the footage just looks really good. And if I want that camera where I just want to be quick and I want to vlog something, or I want to take it away on holiday and I want to film my family, then this is the one that I usually take with me. And again, because it's part of that ecosystem, I can just connect to the wireless mic. I don't have to put in a receiver or anything, and I can get much clearer audio. So the Action 4 is great for just being that one that you just pick up and you want to point and shoot and you just want to get good footage without really doing anything. That is the one that I would go for. If I wanted to use multiple cameras and I wanted to make sure that my footage was going to be matched between those cameras, that is when I would use the Action 5 Pro because I would shoot in D-Log-M. And even though the Action 4 has D-Log-M, I don't like the way it color grades. So Action 5 Pro, it looks great when it's color graded. It color grades really nicely. And so this is the one that I would go for. One thing that I will say about this over the Action 4 as well is that if you film with more than one person, so you're not just filming yourself, but you're also filming somebody else. With the Action 4, if you want to use 2 microphones, you would have to connect to the receiver. Whereas with the Action 5 Pro, you don't have to have the receiver. You can connect two microphones wirelessly using Osmo Audio. So that is something to bear in mind. If you know that you film with other people, then that is probably going to be more convenient for you than the Action 4 is going to be. And I'm not saying that the image quality in the normal color profile from the Action 5 is bad. I just don't like it, and I know other people who are fine with it and they love it. That's just my preference. I just don't like the HDR look. I think the Action 4 looks more natural, but that's, again, my preference. So just something to bear in mind. And then there's the Nano, the DJI Osmo Nano. And even though I wouldn't necessarily use this as my main vlogging camera, if I knew that I was going to be doing nothing but POV or mainly POV throughout the day, this is the camera that I'm going for, because that is its primary purpose, to have that small camera that you can mount on your chest, or that you can mount anywhere really that has a magnetic surface. Then this is what I would be using. And again, it's just coming back to thinking about how are you going to be using these cameras, because they're going to have specific use cases and better use cases. They can all be used for the same thing, but some are going to shine better in certain scenarios than others, and the Nano is definitely POV. So if you just want one camera and you mainly do POV, then the Nano or the Go Ultra or the Insta360 GO 3S, they're the ones to definitely look at. And that's when I would pick up the Nano over something like the Action 4 or the Action 5 Pro. The reason that I would pick up the Nano over the Insta360 cameras is, again, if I wanted to match footage from any of my other cameras, the Nano has D-Log M, just like the other DJI cameras, even though Insta360, actually, the Go Ultra doesn't have a log profile, and the Go 3S does not have a log profile either. But even if they did, if it was like the Ace Pro 2's log profile, it's not really, it doesn't grade very nicely. And so when I'm using these Insta360 cameras, I am literally using them in their standard colors, because I think the Insta360 colors are really nice. Some people think they look too vibrant and too saturated, but I actually think they look really good. So if I'm picking it up and I know that I'm not going to be trying to match my footage and I want to be quick, then I don't necessarily need to use the Nano. I would pick up the Insta360 GO Ultra. And the reason that I would is that if I was, for example, going to be on a bike ride and I wanted to switch from POV to vlogging, then first of all, having this on a bike and having the flip screen is so useful, honestly, because you can really frame up your shot properly. You don't have to try and figure out where the camera's pointing. Obviously you can use your phone and use the Mimo app with the DJI cameras, and you can monitor your footage that way and frame it up that way. But just having this flip screen is so useful, especially when you're vlogging as well. Just having a slightly bigger screen, it's not slightly bigger, it is bigger. Having that is actually really useful. So in situations like that where you're going to be putting the camera in awkward positions and you just want to make sure that it's framed up properly, this is where the Insta360 cameras are great, because of that flip screen. And like I said, if I was going to be going out on my bike, I would probably pick up the Go Ultra. The reason that I do not like the Go 3S so much is because I don't like the image quality. I think the image quality looks quite poor in comparison to the Go Ultra or the Ace Pro 2. So that is the main reason that I would go with the Go Ultra. And if I, again, wanted a camera where I needed the flip screen and I wasn't bothered about having a POV camera, I just wanted a really good vlogging camera where I had this big screen and also have this wind guard so that I didn't have to connect any wireless microphones to me, then this is where the Ace Pro 2 is great. And the image quality from the Ace Pro 2 is really good as well. But this wind guard that they put on here is so useful, because if you do not want to use a wireless microphone and you literally just want to pick up a camera and not have to worry about that and just turn it on, press record, get good quality footage, nice colors, then the Ace Pro 2 is that camera. So that is the situation in which I would use that. And also, again, mounting it on a bike if you want to, or mount it anywhere and just have that flip up screen is going to be very handy as well. So even though this is not part of the action camera crew, the Osmo Pocket 3 is, all of these cameras are good for vlogging, but this is a very good vlogging camera. And what I would say is, if you want something that is gonna be everything for you, I'm not talking about action, I'm just talking about creating content where you're vlogging or you're in your studio and you're creating videos that way. I feel like the Pocket 3 is that camera, because the quality of the footage is great in low light, it's great indoors, it's great outdoors, and you also have the tracking feature. So if you know that you're going to be moving around the frame and you want to move quite freely and not have to worry about whether you're still in the frame when you're moving around, that's when the Pocket 3 is the one that I would choose. And for me, even though I don't use it for vlogging as much as I used to, I mainly use it as my behind the scenes camera, because it comes down to this whole document, don't create, right? So if you can just put the Pocket 3 down, turn it on, put the tracking on, press record, you can go about your business doing whatever you want, and then you've got some awesome BTS content that you can use and repurpose. So that, for me, is the biggest reason. So in a studio, behind the scenes footage, indoors, outdoors, it's a really good all-rounder, but you just have to be mindful that it is more fragile than using an action camera, and it's also not waterproof like the action cameras are as well. And so the last ones are 360 cameras, and I love 360 cameras because of the versatility of being able to shoot whatever you want without having to focus on where the camera is. But the workflow is what kills me, because you have to import the footage, reframe it, and then export the footage. And this is a blessing and a curse, because if you just want to have a quick workflow, don't use a 360 camera. But if you have time and you value having that versatility over the extra time it takes to actually get the footage, then the 360 cameras are great. And I mainly use them if I'm doing some kind of activity where I really don't want to have to worry about where the camera is and keep checking that the camera's pointed in the right direction. So for example, when I go climbing, I always use a 360 camera, because I can just come back, see where I am along the route, and it really helps me when I'm trying to figure out one of the bouldering problems and I can't remember where I put my feet on, put my hands, and so it makes it a lot easier in that respect. And also, I feel like 360 cameras are a great vlogging camera, because if you want to vlog and talk about something, and you're outdoors and say you're doing a travel vlog, for example, and you want to show what's happening around you without having to film twice or keep flipping the camera around, 360 cameras are great, because you just hold it up, you talk to the camera, and then in the edit you can just reframe it afterwards and show whatever it is that you were talking about. So in that respect, it makes the workflow better. So you just have to pick the situation that you're using it. And the reason that I would use the Osmo 360 over the Insta360 X5, because I love both of these, by the way, comes down to matching camera footage and the ecosystem. So with DJI, if I'm using the 360 camera alongside something else, then I would use the Osmo 360 so that I could match my footage, and also just have the same mounts as well, so I could quickly switch between different mounts. Whereas if I know that I just want to be quick and I'm not going to be matching footage, and I'm not even really bothered about having audio, I just want the video footage, then I tend to just go for the Insta360 X5, because again, I really like the colours and it's all I need, and I like how it looks straight out of the camera. So that's when I go with the X5. But what I will say about all of these cameras, not putting the Pocket 3 in that mix, but all of the action cameras, is that from doing the different comparisons, the Osmo 360 by far, maybe not by far, but definitely looks better in low light than any of these cameras. So if you know that you're going to film in low light mostly, the Action 5 does a great job in low light. The Osmo 360 does a phenomenal job in low light, and the Ace Pro 2 does a pretty good job in low light as well. But I still think the Action 5 has the edge over the Ace Pro 2. But out of all of them, the Osmo 360 just kills it. It does such a good job. Now, what I will say is that no matter which camera you get, even though I think some look better than others, that's subjective to me, and what I think looks better might not look better to you. And so you really have to keep that in mind, which is why I try and show a lot of footage in my videos, because I want you to make that decision for yourself. Now, bear in mind that with any of these cameras, even though you're going to have a preference for the way the footage looks, they're all going to do the job. And some do one job better than the other, and that is the whole point. They're all tools, and you have to pick the right tool for the right job. And when you're picking the right tool for the right job, pick the one that is going to make your life the easiest and be the most convenient for you. I feel like if that's you, for me, you know, I don't like faff. I hate faffing around. And I feel like the DJI cameras give me the least faff, depending on what I'm doing, because of the ecosystem. But it just comes down to what you're filming and your budget. I didn't talk about the price with any of these, but the prices vary so much that it almost seems pointless talking about the price sometimes, because you can just go on the website and find it out for yourself. But price, convenience, image in terms of your preference, and ecosystem. So hopefully that helps, and whichever one you pick up, go and make your damn video with it. Don't let it stay in a drawer or on a shelf because you've bought too many cameras and now you don't know which one to use. Pick one and go and film a video. And if you're still stuck and you're overthinking, then I've made a 30-day challenge where you can come and make one video a day. It's not the end goal, so if you're trying to make long form content, the shorts are just there to help you build momentum, get the reps in, build confidence on camera. So if you're still not feeling confident on camera, this is going to help you build that confidence as well. There are so many people in the challenge who have gone from day one to wherever they are now. They're all at different stages, but you can see the difference from the day one videos to where they are now, and it's pretty incredible. So if you need that little bit of a push and you need some encouragement and you need some support, the community is incredibly supportive as well, by the way. So when you do come in, if you do join the challenge, you're going to have so much support in that community. But it's going to give you that push that you need to just create videos and keep creating videos as well. So if you feel like you need that, then the 30-day challenge was made for you, my friend. So I've left a link in the description for it so that you can check it out and you can sign up, and I hope to see you in the community. Otherwise, I hope this video was useful. Choose whichever one makes your life easy and then go out and make a video. I'll catch you on the next one.